Hi, I'm Mark. Welcome back to Foothill Paint Fabrication. Well, we're back on the doors for that 1950 Chevy truck. We've done quite a bit of prep work to get them this far. We redid some old work that was underneath the paint and did a lot of blocking and prep work, and then we got them primed. So now we're going to jump in to do some dry guide coating with some blocking, see how well all our other work did. So let's just jump right into it and see how these things look. Okay, to start, we're just going to hit this primer. This laid down really nice, but I just want to go over it real light with some 240. This is kind of half worn out when I was doing the blue. Just kind of want to knock the tops off everything and get this smoothed out real nice, and then we'll get the dry guide coat out after we blow it off and get it cleaned up, and then we'll lay it on and block it again and see where we're at. All right, we got it just knocked over. I got guide coat on me already. So it's looking pretty good. I don't even need the applicator, just use what's on my fingers here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just hit it real light. Just kind of go over the whole thing systematically here, make sure everything gets covered. Okay, I know it looks like a mess, but I want to make sure I get thorough coverage. So once I get it kind of all covered over, I just kind of go over it again. Get it rubbed in really nice, smoothed out, make sure I didn't miss any spots. Okay, we got everything dry guide coated really well. And right off the bat, I don't know if you guys can see, but you can see some orange peel from the primer. That's no problem. We don't see any drastic problems right off the bat. You can see over here, I don't know, you guys probably can't see it, but you can see where I feather edged around this thickness of paint here around the handle and the door lock. And so definitely see it, you can feel it. So when we're blocking out, that line will become very defined. And then as it goes away, then we know we're getting where we want to be. Now over here, we got a little spot over here, and some other spots along this edge where, remember, we kind of removed that paint and got that straightened out. And this is the whole area where we had that re-repair, where there was some sort of body filler right here with a low spot on each side. So all in all, it doesn't look bad. I mean, there's no serious things popping out to me, so that's really good. So I'm gonna get some 240. We're gonna go right back to 240, and I'm gonna go over it lightly so I don't end up pushing down hard. Now, if I was to go to a finer sandpaper, it would go slower, and I know myself, I would probably start pushing harder to sand faster, and I don't want to do that. I want to let the sandpaper do its work. I want to apply pressure, but I don't want to be really bearing down. So that's how you get these things nice and flat, is just, you know, long strokes, not a whole lot of pressure. So let me go grab that, and then we'll get sanded. Okay, I got you zoomed in on this re-repair we did right here, so we can check it out, see how it's going. I got my little Duro block with some 240 peel and stick on it. So let's see what happens here. Okay, so right off the bat you can tell we've got some definite lines here. Remember where all that was feathered out, right? So we had some filler here, some old body filler right here, some primer and some other paint and everything else. So it's already starting to show up right away. Just gonna take nice long strokes here, go around the corner. Not too much pressure, but I'm trying to hold the block and hold even pressure at the same time. Okay, so right off the bat, and the good thing about this dry guide coat, you can wipe it off. You can blow this panel off or whatever. You're not going to blow that stuff out of those grooves. So we can already tell we're coming along nicely. Now you can see up here there is some unevenness in the paint down below, and we're going to be able to block that all the way out. It's a beautiful part about this dried guide coat. You can work so quick with it. But if we look at our repair right here, it already feels pretty smooth to me. To my hand, I can't feel all the stuff I can see. So that's where this stuff really shines. It helps you really get it nice and flat. So I've got a chunk over here, and these are sand scratches from me working with the longboard. And then we got a little bit here on the perimeter. So I'm going to keep sanding this real quick, and then we'll bring you back and we'll see how it looks. All right, I got about, I don't know, 8 minutes of sanding with the block. So our re-repair right here is coming out really nice. Now, all those lines and everything that were there, you notice they're all gone now. We've got some pock marks here, a little bit over here. I can feel that one. And then, I don't know what that was from, possibly when I was blocking out. And then we've got some pinholes here and there. But other than that, this thing feels excellent. It feels really good across here. So we've got some more sanding to do, and we haven't run out of primer. There's plenty of primer on here, and if we do go through, we'll spot prime it and fix it later. But so I want to block this out, but I don't want to, so I've got a spot here and I've got a spot here and here. I don't want to just sit here and just sand those out. I want to keep sanding the same way I was before, big long strokes till those disappear. If I just sit here and sand that out, all I'm doing is putting a little mini flat spot right there, and that's not what we want. We want this panel to nice, smooth, flat area, so when that clear is polished out, it looks perfect. No ripples, no nothing in it. The best we can do. So this is looking good. So let's move over to, it just needs some more sanding. So I'm not going to bore you with that, but I mean, it's coming out super nice. Let's move up to the door handle where we got a lot more heavy fill work being done, and let's see if we can work that out. All right, I got you guys in as tight as I can get. This the shop just destroys my cameras and lenses and everything else, so I don't want to get it super close. We DA'd this down and feathered that old paint out pretty good, knowing that we're going to double or triple up on the primer right here, hopefully to help build this back up and then just transition that back away. So I got the 240 again, so let's just start blocking it out. Okay, you notice I'm going out pretty far away because I don't want to just focus on this one spot, get this flat, and then have it go, ripple off into something else. So I want to draw all this together, and you can see it very distinctly. Now over here on this edge, we're already done. I mean, it's really looking really good, but the tough part is this over here, and I can feel that. It's not just looks. Up top, I think we're going to be okay over here. So I'm confident we're going to have to spot prime this again, but we're going to go ahead and just get this primer down, and blue starts showing up. That's fine, and then we'll figure out what we need to do step by step. Okay, I had about another 10 minutes of sanding on here. Now we can see the green starting to come through. This dark line right here is where that edge rolls over a little bit. So that's guide coat right there, not steel. We've got a little bit of metal showing through right here. It goes green, red, and then metal. This part of guide coat I don't care about. That's where the hole is pulled in when it's stamped and the handle sits right over the top of it. Parts I do care about is this part right here and this part right here. We got a little bit of cottage cheese marks right here, orange peel right here. So this is so low that I'm not going to be able to block that out, I don't believe. I'm going to keep working it a little bit, but with this metal starting to show, that means I'm getting to the point where I can't do any more with what I've got, what material I've got to work with. So I need to start thinking about, okay, am I going to chase this and just put a large flat spot that goes off into something, or am I going to, just go ahead and stop, I'll work this just a little bit more. If you can see over here, there's some blue showing, and that's from me blocking this whole area and taking this down till it's all nice and flat. So this spot right here is just way too deep. I can feel it. It's not going to come out. And this one here, it's marginal. I'm going to go ahead and block it out a little bit more. But what I'll end up having to do, I'll have to stop. I'll take some sandpaper on my thumb and sand all that guide coat out of there, blow that out, and I'll know that I need to spot prime this area again, give it a couple of good coats, and then I know for sure that we'll be able to block that back out nice and flat. But right now, I mean, it's feeling excellent. I mean, that big area that we had DA'd and feathered edged out, it's basically gone now. So, and that's really nice. There's nothing to feel, there's nothing to see. It's looking really, really good. So I'm pretty happy about that. A little disappointed in this one, but you know, it was super deep right there, and that's where the handle bolts down. It may have squished the metal down a little bit. I don't know, but we're gonna go ahead and take care of that and get it done right. So I'm gonna go ahead and back away a little bit. We'll go to super speed and just sand the rest of this panel, and we'll see what we find. All right, let's take a look at it, see what we've got. So in the middle of the door here, where you're most likely to push too hard to make it flex, I've got some orange peel going on, but no real serious things to worry about. It just needs more sanding. Now over here, you can see, I think you guys can see, there's a pretty good little pronounced kind of a dot right here, or finger size spot. Now that's a low spot right there. We've got one here, we've got one here and here. But I'm confident that I can block those out. They shouldn't be a problem. We've got enough primer on here, and if we don't, then we'll have to spot prime. But I'm going to finish this up off camera. We're going to get these blocked down as far as we can go, and then I'll bring you back and we'll talk about what's left to do to get ready for some spot priming. So let me go ahead and finish this up off camera. I don't want to bore you guys with a bunch of sanding, and then we'll see exactly what's left that the primer wouldn't take care of. Okay, I got both doors ready. They've been blown off, tacked off, and ready to go. The strainer is just finishing draining into the cup, and all we have to do is spot prime these things, so I didn't mix up very much. Now we got a few spots that I have to make sure I get plenty onto. I had a couple of chips right here, but most of the other areas are just to go over at one good time, maybe two. The hard part is you have to go back to where that guide coating wasn't sanded off, and you've got to sand that guide coating off, and then you got to remember where they're at because you lose them down inside this light gray. But I sand in kind of a circle with my thumb to get all that guide coating out of the bottom of that area, low area, and then it helps me find it later. So this one's not going to get anything except right in this area, and then around the perimeter in a couple of little spots. Same idea over here, but we had a couple of spots over there that are going to need right there and right there. It's going to need a good coat. And then on the bottom lip here, I did quite a bit of work, so I'm going to make sure I get that taken care of as well. And then all the way around the edges again. So let's grab the gun and get these things spot primed. So I'll hit those areas that need the most, and I'm going to let those flash off, and I'm going to come back and hit them again just to make sure that the deep ones really get the material they need. I don't want to just pile it on there, even though it's laying flat. I don't want to just pile it on there and just let it sit there. I want to put a good wet coat on, let it flash off completely, and then come back and get it again. Okay, so it's the next day. I got the spot prime done on all the areas we wanted. So now we need to go back and do some dry guide coating, some more blocking to make sure we got everything out. So let's jump in close here and just concentrate around these door handles since they were the worst. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, we're just going to use that 240. Can I go over it? Then we're going to bring in some dry guide coat here. Make sure we get it really good right around the troubled areas. And then we're just going to sand it again and see if the spot prime took care of everything. Now you'll notice if you block out then sand your primer and then come back and dry guide coat it again, you'll find that the guide coat goes away really quick. It's because everything's so smooth. So we can see the orange peel from the primer. It doesn't lay down super flat, and I did kind of build it up quite a bit right here, so you're going to have that. This 240 was what I was using earlier, so I do need to put a fresh piece on here. Let me take care of that right now. All right, got a fresh piece of 240 on here. Should knock through this real quick. So we can see we got a low spot here. Now we didn't have one there before. We had one right here and one right here, but that's the amount of primer that I put on there. So we just need to sand all this down and all this will disappear. Okay, we got it all out. Feels really good. We got a little bit of blue starting to come through here. So we know we're getting that feathered out really nice, and all the guide coating's gone except where it's stamped right here, so that's no big deal. The latch will cover that no problem. Now I'm just going to go over the rest of the door lightly with this, knock down some of the dry spray and just get it smoothed out, and then we're going to hit it with some dry guide coat and then just go over the whole thing again. And the dry guide coat will come off a lot faster than it did before because we flattened it out really well. It's just time to double check all our work. Okay, we're all done. Got maybe 35-40 minutes into this sanding. So this area here that we had that little two little low spots that I double primed, spot primed, that's all sanded out really nice. This little spot over here came out really nice. And that little thing that was going on here, I must have bumped it with a hose or something. That sanded out perfectly anyway, so it was no big deal. And then over here, the biggest problem at the door handle, it came out beautifully. So this is like it wasn't even there, which is the whole idea. So it's smoother than it was ever in its whole life. So I'm pretty happy about that. And we got these edges sweetened up really nice. They're looking really good. And this seam down here is looking really good. So all in all, this door is basically ready, almost ready for paint. The next step will be spraying kind of a sealer primer on it. I'll just use the same polyester primer. I'll just reduce it down and put one medium coat, and then we can move over to sanding it with some 400 and 600 and then basically be ready to shoot. I still have to flip them over, prep the other side where the door panel is going to get painted black, and just kind of scuff up these jams. They're all smooth enough, so we're just going to get those prepped for paint. But as far as flatness goes, smooth, these are ready to go. Okay, that just about wraps up my project for the day. Block sanding and guide coating these doors. We've got it finished off. They look great. I'm really happy with the way they turned out. But I'd love to see what project you guys are working on. So send me 2 or 3 or 4 pictures of what you got going on, what you're building. I don't care what it is, how far you're along. I don't need to see finished projects. I'd love to see kind of a progression. That would be really cool. So email me those. I'll put my email in the description down below. Send me 2, 3, 4 pictures, a brief description, and I'd like to post them at the end of every video. So thanks for joining me here at Foothill Paint and Fabrication. If you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed yet, come on, hit that subscribe button. I really could use the help. And if you like what you saw, give it a thumbs up. It really helps support the channel and gets it out to everybody else. We'll see you on the next one.